Okay, everyone, welcome again. It's nice taking you on this class again, Microsoft Project Tools. I think today we'll see what we can do to round up the course for today. So, hope we are all staying safe, keeping safe, and taking care of ourselves. I wish you all God's protection. So, in this course, we're going to start for a recap. As a recap, we spoke about the last time. We talked about to set up resources, setting up resources. So let me just run through it before we go for to what we have today. Now I said in project management terminology, resources are required to carry out the project tasks. Resources are required to carry out the project tasks. Now, if you can remember, I said resources or resources in project management includes what? They can be people, equipment, facilities, funding, or anything except labor required for the completion of a project task. Now, I also talked about the optimum resource scheduling, and I said is the key to successful project management. Now we looked at resource types. We have work resource, we have cost resource, we have material resource. So we looked at all this last week, and we went further to check steps involved in setting up a resource. And I said in a project, when you open your project management software, Microsoft Project Management Software, you click the View tab. From the View tab, you click Resource View Group, and from there you click Resource Sheet. Then there is click the cell directly below the resource name heading. So I talked about that last week, and I talked about resource maximum capacity or resource mass capacity. I talked about, or we looked at the mass unit, the mass unit field, which represent the maximum capacity of a resource to a work or assigned task. So we talked about that one. Then we also looked at work resource as a group, work resource as a group. And I said to do that, you click the view tab, the resource view group, then you click the resource sheet, then click the cell directly below the resource name heading column. Enter the resource as group. Now, I said in this place, we can, like, if you take an example of an engineer, so you can just enter the name, the group name as engineers, then click the maximum unit field for engineer resources. So we looked at that last week, which I think by now we all should be familiar with the word view tab. We should be familiar with the word view tab. So we also looked at how to set up resource as part-time at part-time. Now, when I mean by part-time, not everybody works full day. So some people want to work half day, some want to work only weekends, some want to work without weekends, some want to work extra hours, Saturday, Sunday. So these are part-time, and we looked at how we enter them, and I said you click the view tab, the resource view group, then you click the resource sheet, you click the cell directly below the resource name heading column, then you enter resource as an individual or job function. So now we looked at that, and I showed you some examples on the screen. We also looked at entering entering resource cost. Then under that, we talk about the work resource, that's the people and equipment to complete the task, the cost resources, that's the financial cost associated with a tax, that with a tax, travel expenses, food expenses, etc. Then we looked at the material resource, which I told you they are the consumables used as the project proceed. They are consumables used as project proceed. Now, one of the most important thing I talked about or we looked at was how we can calculate the cost of a tax by using the formula which I gave to you. I said the formula to calculate project cost. You use cost of tax is equals to work value that in number of hours multiplied by resource pay rate. So this will give you the cost of the tax, to give you the cost of the tax. So, and we say that to enter standard and overtime pay rate for work resources. We looked at that and we said click the view tab, resource view group, resource sheet, then click the cell directly below the resource name heading column to create resources. Then I said, okay, click the standard rate field for each resource to cost in hourly, by default, to cost in hourly, that's by default. So you can change it to whichever way rate you want to take it, daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. So we looked at that. We also looked at overtime. We also look at overtime rate fields. So how to enter it in our last lectures. So, and I said in that one, you take view tab, resource view group, then resource sheet. You double click the resource, then a resource information dialog box opens to you. Then what you do there, you click on the note tab and enter a note, maybe as Emmanuel, then will work part-time. So you put it as part-time, click OK. Then the project management software will take it from you and be able to calculate it. You calculate it. So at the end, when you view your summary, you'll be able to know some that works overtime or part-time. So when paying them, you will not pay someone excess or underpay any worker So we looked at all this, then how to assign material resource to tax. We also look at how to assign material resource to tax. And we said you click the view tab, the Gantt chart view, the resource name column. You click the box below below the resource name column for the tax you need the resource to be assigned. For the tax, for the job, in another way, let me say for the job or the duty, you need the resource to be assigned. Then from the drop down, choose the resource name. Then if you get the sheet, I showed you an example. My sheet was shown on the screen where you can pick whichever, and you can also select multiple resources to work on a single task. So that is how you can do that. So another method you can do that showed us some different methods we can do that. So if you are not in the class, please try get the note and talk to those that attended the class. God helping us. So I used about 4 different methods in doing that. So now let's look at the project management plan duration and cost time. The project management plan duration and cost time. Now, after assigning a task, you can view the cost, duration, and work required for the plan. So when you assign a task, you can, with the help of the Microsoft Project Management, you can view the cost, you can view the duration, and you can view the work required for the plan to be completed. Now, to check plan, how do we check plan duration? Now, this is the steps in checking plan duration. In the Gantt chart view, you click on View tab, then click on Split View Group, and from there, the Timeline checkbox. When you click on the Timeline checkbox, you'll be able to see the plan start and finish date of your project. You'll be able to see the plan start and finish date. Now, in the Gantt chart view, you can also look at the project summary. You can see the project summary to note the duration, start and finish date of the plan. Now, let's take, for example, let's take this example. Please just write down. Assign resource is the project summary task. So let's look at identify a task. Now, let's say we have duration 53 days and the start date is 1st May 2020, and the finish date is 3rd July 2020. So we can switch project summary tasks on by following the steps I'm about to tell you. So we can switch it on project summary task by following these steps. In a Gantt chart view, you click the format tab, show or hide is there. You click on it to check project summary tags on, to check it on. So when you click show or hide, now if it is hidden, it will open it for you. Now, the next one we'll look at here is check plans cost. To check plans cost, now you click on the view tab, the data group, the tables, and the cost. Cost for each task gets rolled up into summary task, and then ultimately to project summary. So this is what it does. So how do we do this? You click on, like I said, click on the view tab, the data group, the table cost, then you are good to go. Then when you click on that, then you can also click on plans work. You can also click on the plans work to see the work, the plan for the work. So all you do is click on report tab, view report group, click resources, click resource view, and it will bring out a table for you where you can easily do that. To bring out a table for you where you can easily do that. So now let's look at check project statistics, checking project statistics. Now to check project statistics, so let's work on that. Check project statistics. Check project statistics. Now you can see that on your screen. Now, how do we check project statistics? How do we do that? Now, like even before I could ask anybody, I expect somebody to say click the view tab. But now this is where we're going to do is click the project tab. When you click the project tab, click on properties group, then project information. In the new dialog box, click statistics, and it will give you all the statistics about a project. It will give you the statistics about a project. Now to track the progress, once your project, to track the progress, once your project plan is already in MS Project, it becomes essential, it becomes very important for a project manager to measure the actual, resource, the actual, and to reverse the change information about tasks, resources due to any change to the plan. A project manager should not assume that everything is in progress according to plan and should always keep track of each task. A project manager should always keep track of each task. A project manager should always monitor, should always monitor, so should always monitor each task. Should not assume that, oh, everything is well. I have the best project management software, the project software. So all everything is in place. Let me go and sleep. Let me go and party. No, he or she has to monitor every task, to keep track of every task. Resistance to formal tracking of project management data is normal. You can overcome resistance to tracking by explaining your expectations, explaining the benefit of tracking, and training people to track the tasks themselves, Now, to save a baseline, to evaluate project performance, you need to create a baseline against which you will compare the progress. To evaluate project performance, you need to create a baseline against which you will compare the progress of your project. You need to save the baseline once a plan is fully developed. Once you have your plan, you've developed your plan, you need to save your baseline. You need to save your baseline. Due to rolling wave plan or progress elaboration needed to manage projects, you can always add new tasks, resources, constraints, and cost to the plan. So due to unforeseen circumstances or due to rolling wave planning, you can always add new tasks, resources, constraints, cost to the plan. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this, what I'm saying here, now, project, you might be given some project, there are some unforeseen circumstances, some constraints that you didn't see as a project progresses, which I believe most of us must have known in our project management, that as a project progresses, you begin to see some things that were not included inside the project. Some unforeseen circumstances or constraints begin to show up in the project, and you have to handle them. It makes sense to save the baseline before entering any actual value. It makes sense to save the baseline before entering any actual values, such as percentage of the task completion. It makes sense to do that. So with Microsoft Project 2013, you can save up to 11 baseline in a single plan. With Microsoft Project 2013, you can save up to 11 baseline in a single plan. Now, these multiple baselines seems contrary to the definition of baseline, but you can use this flexibility when you have a baseline plan for the external customers and another for the internal team. Now, when you are preparing for a risk event, you want to develop separate baseline plan for risk response and recovery. Now, you can also accommodate a big change request. You might still want to keep the original plan for future references when communicating with a stakeholder. So you might want to keep the original plan for future references. Now, to create a baseline, this is how it goes. Click on Project tab, Schedule Baseline, then click OK, and it will show you exactly what you can see on my screen now. Sorry about that. It will show you what you are seeing on my screen now. It will show you what you are seeing on my screen now. So that is this. It will show you this. That is, you've created a baseline. Now let's look at to view baseline on Gantt chart. What do we do to view baseline on Gantt chart? Now you click on the View tab. From there you go to the Task View group, then Gantt chart. Then click on Format tab, Bar chart, and Style group. Then from there you click Baseline that you want to display. So you will see baseline Gantt bars displayed together with the current Gantt bar. So you can see that on the screen, the picture that I have on the screen to view the resources. Now to update a baseline. Now as the work progresses on a project, there is need for you to change the baseline as well. So you have several options for the same. One, to update the baseline. Two, to update the baseline for selected tasks. Three, save multiple baselines. Four, update baseline for the entire project. Then five, simply replace the original baseline values with the currently scheduled values. Now to do this, you click on Project tab, click on Schedule group, then Set Baseline, click OK. You click OK. You click OK. Now to update the baseline for selected tasks, what do we do? Now this does not affect the baseline value for other tasks or resource baseline value in the plan. So it's for a selected task. So what we do here, you click on the Project tab, you click on the Scheduled group, Set Baseline, then for selected tasks, you just click OK, then save multiple baseline. You can save up to, like I said before, up to 11 baseline in a single plan. You can do that in a single plan. So click Project tab, Scheduled group, Set Baseline, click the drop down box to save any baseline you like, and click OK. When you click OK, your screen will look like the screen my screen you are seeing now. You are viewing it to look exactly the same thing. Now let's look at interim plans. An interim plan saves only two kinds of information for each task. Please take note. I said an interim plan saves only two kinds of information for each task. Current start dates and current start dates and current finish dates. Now let me go over that again. I said an interim plan saves only two kinds of information for each task: current start dates and current finish dates. So it can be used as a project marker. It is visually easy to see how off track or on track the project progress is. It is visually easy to see how off track the project is going or on track the project is going. So you can do that because it only specify dates. It is simple, clear, and easy information. So when you have that, you can use it as a project marker that will show you if you are on track or off track of the project you are managing. Now to do this, you click on Project tab, Scheduled group, then select Baseline, then set interim plan, then click OK, and it will show you just like the screen, the figure you are seeing on the screen now. Now we can also track plan by specific date. You can track your plans by specific date. Now, if all tasks have been stated and are finished as scheduled, you've scheduled all your tasks, you can record it in the update project dialog box. You can record it in the update project dialog box. Most of the times, a seasoned project manager understands that this isn't true, but sometimes this approach might be very fine when the actual work and cost value generated are close enough to your baseline schedule. So that is it. So when to do this, you click on project tab, status group, then update project. Then switch on the radio button for update work as complete true. Then option and then set 0% to 100% complete. Select the current date and click OK and click OK. Select the current date and click OK. Your screen will look like this. Then you check them. When you check marks will appear, your check marks will appear in the indicator column for tasks that have been completed. You see check marks on tasks that have been completed on the indicator column. Then on the right in the Gantt chart, on the right in the chart portion, progress bars are generated in the Gantt bar of each task. You see project progress. You see progress bar generated in the Gantt bar of each task. So you see that there. So if you see my screen, you can see it there on my screen. So track plan as percentage complete. Now let's go with the first method. How can you track a plan to know the percentage completed? Now you click any task. When you click any task, click task tab, then click on scheduled group, either 0, 25, 50, 75, or 100%. When you click on it, then you click on that and you are able to view that. Task actual duration. Task actual duration. Now to do this, you click on the view tab, the data group, tables, work. After clicking on the work, you will see the percentage complete. So or work complete or percentage work complete column. Then you see that then the table includes work, scheduled work, actual and remaining column. Click on the task you want to update in the following table, task 9. When you see the following table, my table, you see on task 9. So that's an example. So let's look at that. You click on task 9's actual field in, is clicked and 24 hours is entered. For this task, initial schedule work was 16 hours. Because 24 hours is greater, the project marks the task as 100% complete and updates the work column to 24 hours from initial 16 in the example. So you could see that when you do that, you could get that from, you could get that from my screen. You could get that from my screen. So we can also look at the task actual duration. We can also look at the task actual duration. Like I said, baseline is saved because baseline does not change and is used as a comparison. Baseline is saved because baseline does not change and it's used as a comparison. The baseline is still at 16 hours and a variance of 8 hours is now calculated by MS Project. So that is now I want us to take note of something. Actual project is rolled up and also reflects on the summary. Is Actual project is rolled up and also reflects on the summary. So you can see that on my page here. Now the actual start and finish date. To look at the actual start and finish date, you click on the task whose date you would like to change. Then you click the task tabs, then schedule groups, from the drop-down menu for main on track and update tasks. Now you can also change start or finish field in actual group. You can fill actual duration field as well. You can fill actual duration field as well. So this is it. We've been able to establish this fact in project management. So with the project management softwares, we've been able to achieve this fact. So for a classwork, please let's write this down. For a classwork, let's write this down. Let's write this down. For a classwork, Mr. Okoro was given a project. Mr. Okoro was given a project to a project of two-story building. Sorry, a project of two-story building using the Microsoft Project tools, using the Microsoft Project software. Enter all the fields, create a project plan for the project. Using the Microsoft Project software, create a project plan, assign resources, and print out the summary. Now I go over it again. Mr. Okoro was given a project of two-story building. As a project manager, create the project plan, set resources, and assign resources. As a project manager, create the project plan, set resources, assign resources and cost, and print out your summary. So send your summary to safetybliss@yahoo.com. Send your summary, the printout of your summary, to safetybliss@yahoo.com. And the hard copy printout must be submitted to your coordinator, so who will forward it to Lagos for marking. So until then, I want to say thank you, stay calm, and God bless you. But before we go, there's a classwork I want us to quickly look at here. A classwork I want us to do. Everybody, I want you to attempt this classwork. There's a classwork I want us to look at here. Yes. So let's quickly look at the classwork. Let me dictate it and let us see. And if you are not doing it, I must know whether you did it or you didn't do it. So it's going to be what we're going to do. Number one, how many methods, in how many methods can we assign material resources to a task? In how many methods can we assign material resources to a task? List them and explain them. In how many methods can we assign resources to a task? So list them now and explain them. So list them and explain them. In how many methods, or list the number of methods we can assign resources to a task. List and explain them. So that is the first question. Then question number two. Mr. Bright was given a project. Mr. Bright was given a project of one bungalow. Calculate the cost of resources. Calculate the cost of resources. Calculate the cost of resources. Mr. Bright was given a project of one bungalow. So as a project manager, calculate the cost of resources, the cost of resources, or the cost of the project. So thank you and see you again. God bless you. Do have a nice day. And until we meet again, please stay safe. I love you, but Jesus loves you best.